She has been working in the non-profit sector since graduation. After a long 15 years, she finally made the switch from non-profit sector to the real estate industry. And in her short 9 months journey in the real estate industry, she was not once but twice the top 100 achievers in Hutton's agency. Welcome to the second episode of the Breakthrough series. I'm very happy to have my guest for today, Priscilla.
Hi everyone, hi Vivian. Very happy to be part of this series today.
Thank you for taking time off to share with our viewers your real estate journey so far.
Yes, it's my pleasure.
Okay, I met you in June, or rather you joined us in June last year. Yeah, actually then I was very curious because you were with the non-profit sector for 15 years and then you want to make the switch to real estate.
Yes.
Okay, it's like a huge jump, from a non-profit to real estate. What makes you decide to make the jump?
Actually, that's a very common question that was also in the minds of many of my friends, and some of them were, feeling that, why do you give up your career, why don't you just try to persevere and then maybe consider management roles? But actually, whether it's non-profit or property, they are actually both topics that are very close to my heart. I remember when I was moving house in 2019, I was a little lost. I didn't have an agent that was able to tell me what I could do, what are the options, what are the pros and cons. So a lot of stuff I read up on my own. And subsequently when I share, why I made certain decisions, some of the thinking and some of the things that I found out, actually my friends found it very useful. Okay. So that actually sparked me off to consider, hey, maybe I should also make a switch into a career that can allow me to be a master of my own time. I can decide what I want to do, whether if I need to be more active now or whether if I need to take a break and focus on other priorities in life. So that actually made me do a mid-life
career switch.
Yeah, career switch.
Okay, just now you brought out a very good point, to have the flexibility of your time. I think one of the reasons why many people choose to do a mid-career switch is, for work-life balance, flexibility of time. But one of the main concerns whenever I speak to, aspiring real estate agent is that for this job, right, there is no fixed pay. Yes. How do you overcome this? This is like the thing, that they have to overcome before, they decide to join us as a real estate agent.
I think thankfully it's because it's a mid-career switch. I've worked a few years in my life. We've got savings. We're able to plan better in terms of financials. We did a calculation first. I didn't jump in blind, okay, and I wouldn't encourage people to do so. Coming in, I also realized that, hey, I needed some marketing budget and stuff like that. And I think being humans, we should just adapt. So I did take on some temporary jobs so that I can get some income and run some campaigns and do some lead generation. Yeah.
Okay, that's very good. Okay, now let's talk about the deals that you close. Okay. You close your first deal. Technically, you close your first deal 3 months into your real estate career. So, why I say technically, because that is so typical of you. Coming from the non-profit sector, the first deal you close is actually a pro bono case. Right, and I think that time you were searching for a venue for this pair of artists who were doing an exhibition for the mental wellness exhibition.
Yeah, so actually that was the start of our career. The Navy's leaders were actually very kind to newbies, the new agents like us. So they actually offered us a listing for commercial shophouses, and a pair of artists actually contacted me saying that they have limited budget but they would like to run an exhibition as part of the Beyond the Label campaign. And I remembered that was during the aftermath of the River Valley School incident, and mental wellness was something that was actually on everybody's lips. And I actually took the chance to approach the landlord and say, if let's say the venue is available and the interest for the venue may not be as high, or even if it is, please consider at least loaning them the venue at a good rate. So thankfully the landlord was actually agreeable and the exhibition was able to run as planned. And actually for myself, it was also a very nice moment because I left the social service sector, and I feel that actually whatever roles that we are in, we're still able to do our part. Yeah, you know, so as a real estate, I was also able to do that for them, even though there was no commission involved lah. Yeah, and I remember that I only came to you almost close to the end of the deal to say that I have this because I needed some help, and I was actually worried about your response. And you were very, you know, you're very, very firm. You just told me good job, and that was exactly what I needed to hear. You know, and he told me that I did make a correct switch. You know that in whatever that I do, I'm able to have mentors that are very supportive of what I do, even if it's pro bono.
So apart from this deal that was closed 3 months into your career, which is a pro bono, you actually went for a period of 5 months without closing any deal. And I want to ask you whether you are comfortable in sharing this moment that we have in December, which I thought is very meaningful and very inspiring, for people who are watching this video. And I remember last year in December, right, I was organizing a Christmas gathering for the team, and I actually called you and asked you about the dates, and you told me you didn't want to attend. Yeah, reason being that you hasn't closed a deal. And I know then you were like super demoralized.
It was not an easy journey. I'm thankful that my families were supportive, but it was still a very heavy feeling because, people sometimes see you bumming around, what you're doing, you're just typing on your handphone, typing on your laptop all the time. I felt as if I was running around in circles. I was putting in effort, but I wasn't seeing results. You see your peers, those that have joined together, they are closing their deals and they're making outreach. So, sometimes you'll start to wonder and say, did I really make a right choice? And then, which is why I didn't want to join the Christmas gathering, because I felt I was different from the rest. They were a lot better. But you told me something that was very important that changed my mind. That it doesn't matter that we have not closed deal. What matters is that we are putting in effort, and that each of us will bloom when the time comes. And that was like a very eureka moment for me, because being in the social service sector, doing comms, right, we tell people that all the time, that everyone is differently able, that your time will come to bloom. Everybody just grows at its own pace. But somehow, after years of saying that, I didn't apply it on myself. And your statement reminded me of that you were able to see me for the efforts that I put in, and not measured by the results that you see. Which I think was a very heartwarming moment for me, and that made me decide to come for the Christmas gathering. And because by coming to a Christmas gathering, I will start to stay connected with my peers. I'm able, like running, you run along when someone is running with you, you kind of follow their momentum.
Correct.
And then you don't lose yourself. And you were telling me that as long as I go and hide myself into the dark corner, most likely I'll give up.
Yeah, and you will never come out.
Yes.
Yeah, actually it's true. No, I just want to take this moment also to share, with whoever that is watching the video, right? Whether you are an experienced agent, whether you are a new agent, definitely you will encounter moments like this where you feel that, I'm like so useless. I'm not closing deals. How come everything I touch, is like, it's not going to work? But it is especially during this kind of moment that you have to come out and have activities to meet people and not stay at home. Because the worst thing to happen is if you stay at home, you are going to be like that forever. You're going to just tell yourself that, hey, I'm very useless, Yeah, and really I'm very thankful for you, because if you look at our real estate industry, right, it's very common that we see people celebrating closings, achievement. Well, those moments are really priceless. But it's very rare to see people coming out and share, how they overcome their difficult moments, which is very common in our career.
Yeah, it was really not an easy journey. Coming from the non-profit sector, actually all my life, at least in the course of my work, it's been treated with a lot of kindness and respect. I remembered, there was a very nasty rejection, and I just burst out crying in the streets with my parents, and you could see in their eyes that their heart was completely broken, because 70-year-old people seeing a 40-year-old daughter crying.
I can understand.
And then they don't even know whether to tell me to give up or to tell me to persevere.
Hey, wait, this incident happened when you were in the real estate industry, or?
Yes, in the real estate.
Really?
In the first few months.
Really?
Yeah, because
I totally didn't know about this. Oh my god, okay.
Yeah, so it was like, it really affected, because all the while I've been very sunshiny, and I'm very used to being in a very like sunflower, unicorns and rainbow, and then you know, suddenly I was being squashed, you know. I felt like at least the feeling that I had was like I was a cockroach, you know, that I naturally should be squashed and flattened, you know. And it didn't feel very good lah, and it affected my parents as well. But I was able to grow out of it. I think it was a learning journey for me, and now what I see is that I'm proud of everything that I do, you know, not because of the achievements, but also because of what I believe in myself. I no longer take such remarks or such unkindness or feelings of being misunderstood personally. I think it comes with the job, and if it were to happen, it doesn't affect how I see myself. And whether if we are cleaners or we are agents or you know, we are lawyers, I think we are proud of what we do. At the end of the day, we all put in effort mainly to put food at the table.
Correct.
Yeah, so I've learned to detach, you know, what people think of me and what I think of myself.
Yeah, actually I think the key word here is don't take it personally.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the key
I think they
word
didn't have a chance to know me. You know, and to be honest, we could be strangers. They may not have enough time. They're not friends. They're not obligated to know you. Not everybody has to treat everyone or strangers with kindness. Although we hope that we are a nice and caring society, but sometimes just the stars align and the person happened to be in a bad mood at a bad place, and I happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. So it's not about what I see myself or what I am. It's just an unfortunate, and just I've learned. You told us the word like what? So what? So when and move on.
No, some will, some won't. So what? Next.
Yes.
SWN. Okay, just remember this seven-letter word.
Yeah.
So enough about the not closing for 5 months. Wow, your moment came. The 6 months is like what everybody all come back, and everything all come back to you. From 6 months in the 6 months, right? You close a landed property.
Yes.
Yeah, I was so happy for you because not so much about the commission that was closed. Although it's really not bad, but it's more like I seen the effort that you put in is you finally reap the reward. Yeah, that's more important.
I think, I mean, you're right to say it's really not about the commission. The part that I really enjoyed a lot was actually the trust and rapport that I had with my clients. I remember for this particular client, there were actually other agents that's already marketing this unit. And she came to me and she said, I really hope that you're the one who close it, and even if you're not the one, it's okay, I will recommend my friends, my neighbors to you. And to me, that was an affirmation of the value add that I was able to give her, that she felt very safe and comfortable. And I was able to close it for her.
And that's not all. I mean, after closing your first landed deal, right, you went on to close HDB, project, I can't remember, in the 7 and 8 month of your career. So congratulations, top 100 achievers for Huttons.
Actually, it has been a very meaningful journey, and what was very enjoyable for me is to be able to give my clients the data and the information. Sometimes it's not about what Pris Low says, what Vivian Chong says. It's finding out the information and giving them the data. In social service sector, we have this phrase called evidence-based research, and actually that's also what I do, to tell people, why do I say so? It's not because I had a dream, I plucked the figures from the sky. It's these are the information that's being reported, these are the trends that's being studied, and then at the end of the day, to provide them with a safe place to make their own decision. I think at the end of the day, it's about how we position our money, how we make our money work harder, and there was one tip that I shared on social media about where you should put your children's ang pao money. Yes. So for all my life, I put it inside the savings account,
Me too.
Until someone told me, say, anyway, you're not going to spend the money, just put it in the CPF, and then next time my daughter can use it to buy her property. And I said, oh yeah, because CPF gives us higher interest than savings account. Of course, I will still put some in savings account because I want her to learn how to manage her money and spend, but the others I can actually diversify and put it in CPF, and at the end of the day, I think that's what is important lah.
Okay, now that you have so-called 上岸, you closed a few deals already, I want to ask you, what is your plan for your long-term real estate career?
I would still like to marry a non-profit with real estate.
Okay.
So for every transaction that I'm going to do, a portion will be donated to the Rare Disease Fund.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I've chosen this fund because it helps patients with rare disease with their high treatment costs lah.
Okay.
And the motivation comes from the fact that actually my daughter has a health condition which is called Hirschsprung. So her large intestines are actually not working.
Oh, okay.
So when the doctors told us that when she was born, it basically affects about 1 in 5,000 babies. Yeah, and actually her condition is the most severe one. So her entire large intestine is not working. And it only affects, like, there's only one such case every maybe 3 to 4 years in Singapore.
Wow, okay,
yeah,
okay.
and therefore, you know, after I've known that there's this fund, that's also something that I also want to work with my clients to support, you know, to let the patients know and to let the caregivers know that they are not alone in this journey lah, you know, and and don't hide in their black hole, you know, and that there's actually a pool of community that's willing to work with them on that.
Wow, it's really very meaningful, especially as a mom. Well, I totally can feel how you felt then. So, well, it's really very meaningful, honestly. So, and I'm also very thankful, hearing this story from you, because it is not by coincidence, that today you share with me that you actually have this dream to, set up to help the rare disease area. And the last episode, we actually spoke to Gigi. She has this dream to set up a non-profit shelter for animals. And of course, for myself, I also have this desire to empower women through real estate career. So I see a common thing among us, that through real estate career, right, we actually wanted to use the commission that we earn through this career to pursue whatever dreams and whatever passion that we have. And I think that is really very meaningful and it's very inspiring. Especially what you share today, to whoever who is watching the video today, I think it definitely has inspired a lot of people.
And the end of the day is don't give up.
Yeah,
it might look very scary, but as you say, as long as we keep walking, we'll be able to walk out of the forest. Sometimes it's just how long we take to walk out of it. But in the meantime, while we walk, we have a company, we have mentors, we have teammates that is able to walk and support us through.
Yeah, correct. That's very important. Yeah, don't give up so soon. Again, like what I said earlier on, as long as you are doing the right things, right? Just give yourself a little bit more time, before you confirm that this career is not for you. After all, right, I always say, whenever you want to give up, right, just go and think how hard it is for you to pass the RES exam. You want to give up just like that, I think it's a bit wasted. Yeah. Okay, so with that, I think we will end our episode today. Thank you once again for joining us today, and I'm sure your story has inspired everybody who is watching the video.
Thank you so much. Bye.
See you.